I think the team of John Paul II and Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger was one of the most remarkable collaborations really in Christian history, certainly in papal history. These were two very different guys, Pole and German, athlete and nerd, philosopher and theologian, great public personality, shy academic. Someone who fed off of conversation, someone who was happiest by himself with his books and his piano and his cat. Very different human personalities. But each of them a great man who had the humility to recognize in the other something he lacked. John Paul II was a very, very intelligent man, but he understood that Ratzinger had a deeper, broader theological intelligence than he had. Ratzinger recognized in Wojtyła, in John Paul II, a capacity to publicly communicate Christian truth in a way that he just simply wasn't capable of. They had a very similar understanding of the Second Vatican Council. They had a very similar understanding of the history of the West in the late 20th century. They could disagree without being disagreeable. And for 23 years, Joseph Ratzinger gave his life to the service of John Paul II. 3 times during that period, he asked to be able to retire from Rome and return to Germany and pick up the threads of his academic life, his scholarly life. 3 times, the man who was arguably the most important pope in 500 years said, in effect, I can't do this without you, or at least I don't want to do this without you. And 3 times, Ratzinger agreed to stay, and of course the last time sealed his fate because it was those last years that persuaded his brother cardinals that he should be the successor. Now, I think there are lots of misunderstandings about Ratzinger. I knew him actually longer than I knew John Paul II. I knew him for 33 years, 34 years. And when I last had a long conversation with him a couple of years ago, he was the man of robust humor, which no one normally thought of him as being, that I had known for 3 decades. And we had a couple of great laughs together. He had the most luminously clear mind, I think, of anyone I have ever met. John Paul II was not a great prose stylist. That phenomenological method of doing philosophy leads to a kind of circular way of writing, which is really like climbing down a spiral staircase. You're getting deeper each time, but it's hard to follow. Ratzinger was the only person I have ever met who, when you would ask him a question, would pause, think, and then answer in complete paragraphs. Not complete sentences, but complete paragraphs. And his writing was like that. So that was another complementary aspect of their collaboration. And I think illustrates facets of Ratzinger, Benedict XVI that are often not appreciated sufficiently.
Well, the only thing I've read of his are his 3 books on Jesus, and I will say that it's by far, and I haven't read the genre or anything, of course, but the best expression of what we're all looking for when we read the Gospels. There is something you can't put your finger on. He summed it up so well in story form, and it's just beautiful.
he understood those 3 books as the summation of his life's work. And that's what he wanted to go back to Germany and write. And that's what he was determined to get done, even though he had this new responsibility of being the Bishop of Rome. And thank God he did it. People are going to be reading that hundreds of years from now.